Hello, good afternoon, everybody. It's Jonathan Harmon with the J Harmon Home Team, powered by Keller Williams. Trent, you're laughing. Does that mean something's going wrong, or are we good?
No, we're good.
Okay. And before we get rolling, because I've got two awesome guests, and I can't wait. We've been cutting up while we were waiting on Trent, who was on time and then late. I don't know how that's even possible.
He walks in at 4:05 expecting to start at 4. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, come on, man.
And we were early.
That's right.
We were.
So producer Trent over there behind
Yes,
the cameras. And we want to give a quick shout out to all of our friend, Mr. Bryan Nale, who underwrites this show. Bryan Nale over at IBERIABANK Mortgage. We love Bryan.
First Horizon. Yes.
Yep, that's right. Raise your hand if you love Bryan
Love
Nale.
Bryan.
Okay. Everybody in the
Saw
studio,
him
even
today.
Cammie, the Wonder Dog, raised her paw.
Production assistant Cammie says, "Go, Bryan."
That's right. That's right. So if you need a mortgage, give Bryan a call. If you need his contact info, give me a call or look him up. Or you guys.
Yeah, or give me a call.
That's
Absolutely.
Right. So we've got with us today Miss Mary Fugitt and Miss Christy Gibbons. She said that and I forgot. I just know you're just Christy. Both with Gateway Title, who happens to be definitely the most fun title company in Rutherford County. I don't think that's arguable.
I like that. We're going to have to market that.
Yeah, the most fun.
The most fun.
But also definitely top 3 most professional and best title companies.
Thank you, Jonathan.
And I'd say you edge the other 2 out. I won't name names on the other 2, but I'd say you guys edge the other 2, at least for me.
Wow. Thank you.
So you're number 1, but it's close. It's close. My other friends out there.
There's a couple good ones here in Murfreesboro, no doubt. Independent title companies, which we're pretty proud of that.
Yes, absolutely. So been doing closings with you guys for quite some time now, several years.
Yep.
And it was sad to see Mr. Talbot change his role just a little bit.
Yes.
He was on a couple weeks ago and kind of made that little formal announcement.
Yep.
And we love Tab. Tab, we love you.
We love you. We miss you.
Miss ya.
I wouldn't go so far as to say I miss him, but I do love him. Y'all might miss him.
He was one of the men in the office, so now it's like all women.
Yeah.
He kind of filled that void.
And Glenn.
And Glenn's like, I might be in today. I might not. I might go to the Cape, So we don't see Glenn a whole lot. But Tab was pretty constant. So, we miss Tabbers.
Yep. Tab's a good dude. Tabbers.
Tabbers.
But
Tabbers
wish him Esquire.
Luck. That's
Tabbers
right.
Esquire. That's what I'm going to call him from now on. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Breaking news all the time.
Right. That's right. So I want to talk about title and some of the things that you guys run into, some of the craziness, because it's a tremendously overlooked, I guess, part of the transaction.
Right.
And it's not overlooked when it becomes a problem.
Right.
And until it becomes a problem, it's just like, oh, it just happens.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about that, but I really want to talk about you guys first. So we'll come back to the business of it, but I want to hear a little bit about y'all's story, how you got to Gateway Title, why in the world you got into the title business to start with. A lot of folks that I talk to, they're like, well, I didn't really intend to get into title, but.
Yep. Kind of true. Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead,
Christy, you go first.
Well, let's see. So, didn't go to school for this. I was a stay-at-home mom and was looking to get back out in the workforce, but not anything that was going to, require me to work past 5 and that kind of thing.
Sure.
Family was still very important. And they were looking for somebody just to help out with admin stuff. And I thought, hey, that sounds perfect. So I went in and I talked to Glenn and I said, I have no idea what this is, what you do. And he said, well, I like your personality, so you're hired.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
Awesome.
all right. So as long as the bar is low, then we'll be good. So I started there, and as with title work, things start to escalate quickly with just our business in general.
Yeah.
And so
When did you start with Gateway?
in 2014.
Yeah, so
about
you've
8 years
seen-
ago.
You've seen a tremendous change
Tremendous.
in that length of
Yeah.
time. Probably in the volume, the number of transactions, just in general,
Yes.
number of refis, I'm sure for sure.
The last
Yes.
2 years, especially. Yeah.
Yeah.
There were about 5 of us, I think, when I first came on, and now we're up to
20.
So quite a few people.
Now, one thing that's a little bit unique, and we'll get to what exactly this means here in a minute, but you guys have searchers. They're on staff. So
in-house. Yep.
So some title companies outsource that.
Correct.
Which I know a guy that owns a search firm, and that's all he does is searches. And so that's one way to do it, but you guys keep that in-house for the most part. Is that correct?
Yes.
Or is it 100% in-house?
Probably 90% in-house.
Yeah.
I mean,
90,
some of it is
95.
done by OR, right?
Yeah. On occasion, we have to go to our underwriter, just depending on the complication of it or risk of it. So, but
That
for the
makes
most
sense.
part, it's all in-house, which
Gotcha.
is tremendous.
It's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, I've met all of your searchers. They're all awesome. I could not ever do that ever. Like I would go absolutely bonkers. I mean, sometimes it's mostly digitized at this point. Is that right? But do they ever have to go down and pull out the
books,
the giant books?
I think even if you go to the registrar's office, it's still on digital there. I don't think you can even access books anymore. Maybe in some of the smaller counties, but they don't want you messing with the books because they're old and they want to save and preserve them. Exactly.
Because it's essentially an archive is what it amounts to. Right.
Yep.
Mary, how did you end up at Gateway? So Mary, just full disclosure, Mary has been my contact at Gateway since I started. And then she decided to change roles and she handed me off to someone. And I'm like, oh, great.
My daughter.
Oh, I know. I was getting there. I was setting it up. Yeah. She handed me off and I'm like, oh, I don't want to work with somebody else. And then I found out it was your daughter. And I was like, all right, I guess I'll give her a try. But I told her up front, I was like, listen, I'm a huge pain in the neck. So just be prepared. And she's been fantastic. So apples don't fall far from the tree.
Oh, thank you.
Is this that Jonathan?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, that one.
They've got me on a poster up there that's like, if you see this guy, go a different direction.
Yeah. So my story, I think, is kind of interesting because I'm from Pennsylvania.
I didn't know that.
Lived in the Pocono Mountains my whole life, small town. And my oldest son, AJ, wanted to go to the Diesel College. He was graduating high school. He wanted to come down here and go to the Diesel College in Nashville. So we looked at real estate because that area in Pocono Mountains where I grew up and lived in my whole life got a lot like it is here. People moving in from the city, streets and traffic got ridiculous. Taxes were out the roof. You couldn't afford or enjoy to live there anymore. So we looked at real estate in Tennessee and decided to move. We sold our place, bought 33 acres in Cannon County and moved the family down here. AJ went to the college and he now is the manager over the fleet at Middle Tennessee Electric.
Oh, wow.
So he got a great job.
Yeah. How long ago was this?
We moved here in 2000.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So 22 years.
Yeah.
My kids have actually lived here longer than they lived in Pennsylvania, which blows my mind.
Yeah.
We've been here that long. So I still like to tease people I'm a damn Yankee because
you stayed.
I stayed.
That's right. That's the difference in a Yankee and a damn Yankee.
That's right.
Right. Yankees visit and damn Yankees stay.
We stayed, but I still miss the snow. All that snow last week. I was in heaven. I loved it. Yeah. I miss that stuff. But
my father's from up in the mountains in Pennsylvania, not the Poconos, but a different one. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yes.
So he very much agrees. He's in his 60s, and when it snows, he still goes and cuts donuts and just because he can. You know what I mean? Exactly.
It's fun. It brings back your youth a little bit, you know. But so we moved here. I went back to school and got my degree from MTSU and studied political science and paralegal studies. And I was working at a bank at the time. And one of the attorneys at that bank owned another title company here in Murfreesboro. And she knew that I graduated with that degree and they offered me a job. And that was the first time I worked in title. So that was 2011. And I worked there for a few years. And then I met Tab and I met Glenn through Rutherford County Chamber events. I did Leadership Rutherford, sat with Glenn on the bus one day, and we talked title all day long on the bus. And Tab saw me at ribbon cuttings and they needed to fill a void at the office. And Tab said, and Glenn said, we need to call Mary.
And we got a stealer.
So that's what happened. Yeah, he made me a great offer and I made the move. And
that was a really smart hire on his part.
Thank you.
Very smart.
I never regretted it because it's a family. And really, really is at Gateway. We love each other. We have fun. Christy is a phenomenal person. Not only is she brilliant and beautiful and kind and loving, she has a huge heart, but she's hysterical.
She is. So if you saw us when we faded in, we were all like trying to stop laughing for a second. It was all her.
That's right.
So it was all her. So if title doesn't work out, stand-up comedy is a definite possibility.
Absolutely. We have said that. She should have been a stand-up comedian.
Yeah, you could still do it. You can still do it.
There's not too late.
Little moonlighting.
It's not too late. We'll set a microphone over.
Yeah,
in the
you need to have a drop the mic event here at Cedar Glade, and we'll come over and have a comedy hour.
Just make sure you start
featuring
out with
Christy Gibbons.
Make sure you start out with, I just flew in from Gateway Title and boy are my no.
Boy, are my arms.
It's only funny because it's not funny. It's so funny.
Speaking of title.
Yeah. Exactly.
Dun-dun-dun.
Well, actually, speaking of title, as a matter of fact, what a great segue.
Yeah.
What layman's terms, what does a title company do? Like, what do you actually do?
We convey real estate, search it to make sure it's a clean conveyance so the new owners can obtain real estate without any encumbrances or issues.
Ooh, lots of big words, Mary.
No cloud on the title. That's what it is. We like to, we guarantee you. That's what title insurance is.
It's protection.
Right, against your investment. So not any structures, but the dirt. So we're making sure you get that piece of dirt free and clear.
So give me some examples maybe of some things that you guard against, some things that you found, some things where you went, ooh, hold on a second.
Any idea?
You're doing so good, Mary. I think you should just keep
No,
rolling.
I'm looking at you. You.
I try to avoid those.
As we all do.
So we kind of have different departments at Gateway. So we have the closing side, which is what I do. I work with real estate agents and lenders, do refis, purchases, sales.
Once the real work's done.
But right.
I mean, seriously.
The hard stuff.
Yeah.
Once the hard stuff is done. Christy works on our title side, which means we work particularly with Pinnacle Bank and also with Ascend and just provide them with title reports without doing any closings. So that's just banks reaching out to us.
So let me go this way with it. And you guys tell if I'm wrong, please correct me because I would like to learn too. But basically, you've got this house, and this house is on a piece of land. Okay. And maybe it's a neighborhood, maybe it's not. It doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That piece of land has been sold multiple times throughout the history of us selling real estate in the United States. When it's sold, usually somebody pays off whatever debt's on it.
Mm-hmm.
In order to sell it, it moves to the next person. Maybe they take debt, maybe they don't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what clear title is.
Right.
So there's no lingering debt that travels with the land to the new owner.
Correct.
And that's what you guys are checking. But sometimes there is lingering debt of some sort. Maybe a contractor
sale.
didn't get paid. Maybe there's a
Mechanics
tax
liens.
sale. Maybe there's, some random third mortgage that somebody missed somehow that
never
didn't
got
get paid.
released. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or maybe it got paid and it never got released
Correct. We see that
officially
pretty
in the
often.
courthouse.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys look for that,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's one thing. Then we run into if there's surveys and some of these other things. And we had a situation one time where a garage was added to a house, to a piece of land, like 50 years after it was built. Okay. Somewhere in that 50-year time frame, the neighbor sold like an 8-foot strip down the side of it to the neighbor where the house is.
Mm-hmm.
And they built a garage on that 8-foot,
Mm-hmm.
like partially on that 8-foot strip, like 3 of the 8 feet had a garage on it. Well, they never recorded the sale of that 8-foot strip. So for lenders' purposes and for owners' purposes, that sale never happened. You got to go back and find those original documents, record it, or else it doesn't exist. Right? And so when that comes up, when you guys start to find that, and it was found through a survey and some other stuff, and it was all kinds of different ways that it was discovered, that's when you guys step in and try to figure out how to fix it. Is that right?
Right. We have to go back to those sellers, the people that sold that 50-foot strip. I think I remember this one.
Mm-hmm.
Contact them and say, hey, it's all good and well between the two of you, but we need to make it public record. So
what if
the
they're
new
dead?
this
was
that's a problem.
This was 65 years ago, and the sale was sometime 50 years prior to that.
Then you have to go to the court and ask the court to provide clear title, quiet title, because we can't get in touch with the people that should have recorded it when they conveyed it because they're deceased.
You don't have your Ouija board that you...
Ouija board? I don't know. Christy, do you use one? No.
I was going to say they're in a different part of the dirt.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Hopefully they don't go with the dirt.
That's a different department that has the Ouija board. Yeah, that's in the basement.
We're a little more professional than that, Jonathan.
Well, I mean, you never know. You never know.
My voice sounds so weird on this thing.
Well, it's just because you're hearing it. Yeah, it's super weird.
But yeah.
So then you figure all that stuff out, and what happens next? Because this is the next step to me: discovery, right?
Right.
Certifying,
right?
And then the last step would be insuring,
right?
Right. So what does that mean? What does insurance look like?
Title insurance guarantees the search that we did and the records that we found are correct and free and clear. So if we found something like you're describing, a piece of real estate that should have been conveyed but was never properly conveyed, we'll fix it. And then we'll provide a title insurance policy against that when we close, showing that it's exactly what it's supposed to be. And we guarantee that as long as you own the property. So you buy title insurance, you pay for it one time when you buy the property, and then it's good as long as you own it. And a lot of people don't know what title insurance is. I discuss this a lot at closings, so they're aware of, yeah, you're getting title insurance. Well, what is that?
Right.
So it guarantees their ownership free and clear of encumbrances. So if anything should pop up in the future after they buy their property, they could file a claim against Old Republic, who is our underwriter, and they'll fix it. If something did get missed, I mean, we do our search, our attorneys proof it. Tab would have done that when he was with us. Glenn does it now, and make sure everything is correct. And then we issue that policy. And we're like, how did we finish with Old Republic last year? Like through all their agents, Old Republic out of Nashville has a humongous client base. I think we finished third, didn't we?
I thought it was first.
Is that for policies written or is
that
okay?
Policies written. And most of their clients are commercial clients or big, huge attorneys in Nashville that do all these high dollar, and it's based on the amount of the sale. So if we came in that high out of all those,
you guys are hopping.
We're hopping.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that for a second. So you guys opened a second office recently.
Yeah, we did.
Is it a year now? A little over a year?
A little over a year.
Yeah, down in Manchester, right? A beautiful old home just off the square there in Manchester.
Yep.
And so that helps, I'm sure. Coffee County is booming right now, just like Rutherford County is. So that's pretty cool. But let me ask you this. I have a lot of clients. I say a lot. I have a few clients here and there that are going to, maybe they're paying cash or whatever. And they say, well, if the search is clear, then why do I need to spend the extra money on title insurance? What would you say to that?
Well, because even if you do the most thorough search that you can, things can still be hidden out there. Or, face it, all these properties were farms at some point, and things can just not be recorded. I mean, we can only dig as far as we reasonably can. So there could still be something out there that could have been an issue with a conveyance. I guess that would be my best answer for that.
Well, yeah. And think about it. I mean, you buy auto insurance, you buy insurance for your motorcycle, for your boat, for your home. Why wouldn't you insure something so expensive as an investment in real estate? You only pay for it one time. I think it's a worthwhile investment.
What if that property's been sold a gazillion times and everybody before got insurance? So it should be good, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's a risk if you want to take the risk and not insure your property.
How big can a claim be? Let's ask that question.
I guess there's no limit. Is there, Christy?
Yeah, I really don't know.
How big can a claim be?
Let me call OR.
So you get coverage based on your purchase price. So if you buy $1 million house, I guess you have $1 million worth of coverage. Does that make sense?
But title insurance, ultimately, who does it ultimately protect? I mean, you have two policies, right? So who does it ultimately protect a lot of times?
So it protects the lender and the owner.
Yeah.
Right.
And so when it protects the lender, explain that to me, because that, I think a lot of folks don't understand that they're buying an insurance policy that it covers them, but it also covers their lender.
So there's simultaneous issue. So the owner gets an owner's policy, the lender gets a lender policy. They're not the same. The owner's policy will cover the owner's interest, like we discussed, and the lender policy, I mean, they want insurance for the same reasons, really. They're taking a lien and an interest in that property.
And they want to be the only ones
right.
that have an interest and a lien on that
yes.
property.
Yes.
Okay. Trent, don't you hate when I go completely blank? I was going to ask another great question. Do you have a question about title?
About title?
Yeah. Or about them?
I got a gateway, just some gateway love. Can I share some
absolutely.
gateway love?
While I figure out what I was going to ask.
Yeah, let's share the
love. They were the ones that started the kickball. the new kicks on the block.
Yes.
And,
champions nonetheless.
It's brought me a lot of joy. So thank you. Christy with theme week, just going above and beyond, and some of the best costumes I've ever seen in my life. So,
we definitely made an impression, not necessarily by our playing skill.
Right.
But
that first year was rough.com.
Doggone it, we're going to get that theme week championship. That's
man,
finally,
I feel deprived.
Yeah, finally dethroned on theme week this year. That's 5 years later. So yeah,
wow.
Good times.
Has it been 5 years?
Yeah.
That's hard to believe.
Wow.
It is. It's really
Trent,
crazy.
do you have pictures of this?
Yes.
So can you post those in the comments?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. That'd be great.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know about this.
Picture Glenn in a squirrel, like a full-fledged squirrel costume.
Inflatable squirrel.
Playing
kickball.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Literally, yes.
Yeah, I definitely am going to need pictures of this.
Gold. Absolute gold.
Don't most people play kickball and squirrel costumes?
I mean,
what we're
different?
I can't answer that.
Christy dressed up as a cousin Eddie one.
Hairy chest and all.
Yeah, did you have
not going to tell
the
my
robe?
secret.
Do you have the beer hanging on your belt?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just legendary.
Leopard skin Speedo.
Yes. Oh man. New Kicks on the Block was thanks to Gateway. So the legend lives on, and we're grateful for that. So
is this something that we need to field a team for?
Hey, spring registration just opened, so we're always come on down. It's fun.
It is fun.
What day of the week is that on?
Thursday nights.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can't do all the things.
Maybe we can bring it. Maybe we can bring the beer.
You need to be a sponsor.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
We'll talk
about that off.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me know if this comes into fruition.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But that's
I might have to dust off my cleats.
Yeah, me too.
Bring them out of retirement.
And the pickle. Did you ever wear the pickle costume to a kickball game?
I'm trying to think.
I don't think the pickle ever
costume.
was
Ooh,
part of
banana would be fun too.
We could do a fruit bowl.
Careful what you wish for.
We could do a fruit bowl.
We'll call it the fruit bowl, like the Super Bowl. We'll have it
perfect.
Yes.
Perfect fruits.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It'd be like Fruit of the Loom. The dudes on remember the old commercial?
Yeah.
I like the guy that dressed up as grapes. He was awesome.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, his head was one big grape, and then he had all these other grapes.
Production assistant Cami making sure everybody's okay.
Yeah, Cami.
Okay.
Fun
so
times.
You got your thought back?
No, not really. that actually didn't help, but that's okay.
I'd like to say a little something if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
You brought up our Manchester office. So Rachel Farrell is on the Harmon team, and she's been working with our group down there in Coffee County. So we appreciate her. Along with the rest of your team, Rabi was in today for a closing. And I've seen Brett recently, and I mean, we just love you guys. We appreciate seeing you come into the office all the time because you're great agents. We love you guys.
Our thing is we want to work with the people that are the best in the business. It's that simple because they're going to give the best service to our clients. I want to hear. Here's what I want to do. I want to hear some horror stories.
Oh,
okay. I want to hear some compelling reasons to get title search work done and to get title insurance. I've got one that I will share, but I want you guys to go first. Tell me the worst of the worst.
I'm trying to remember. Well, one that comes to mind instantly was one of the documents we have signed at closing for the sellers is that you do not have any back child or spousal support because it could be a potential lien on the property, right? So they have to say, no, we do not, and sign off on it. Well, we were in a closing, and turns out we found a child support lien against the property, and we had to bring it up and have some conversation about it. And the new wife did not know about the child support or spousal support. I can't remember which one it was, lien. So it was a very awkward moment at the closing table. She looked at him and he looked at her, and there I was like, you want me to leave the room so you guys can have a conversation about this? Because she had no clue.
Wow.
So that was pretty awkward.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that fits your question about nightmares and why you should have title done, but
well, so I guess let me modify that. So you specifically, Christy, how do you find problems? Like you're looking through, what is it that you're looking for? You know, how do you identify an issue?
Well, you're looking to see if it was conveyed properly, if the correct property was conveyed. There could be typos. There could be, we've run into situations where we've, gone to closing and we always update title before closings. I don't know if that's standard, but that's how Glenn's always done it. And we have caught things after doing a title search, already sent a commitment to the lender. And we, like I said, we always update it prior to closing, usually that day or the night before.
Well, people get repairs done in the middle of the process.
Judgments can come down, tax liens, anything. We had a situation where someone else had purchased a property and done a whole closing, but they had a typo and took our property. So our property sold in the meantime of us doing the commitment and going to closing. It didn't really, it was just a typo, but it was one of those things when we went to go update title, we were like, oh, so that had to be corrected.
Yeah.
Because
that's bad.
You can't sell it twice.
Sell it twice. Yeah.
So in that situation where the 8-foot strip of land came into an issue, and I'm sure you remember that, that property had been sold 3 or 4 times since the garage had been built. So other title companies along the way didn't figure it out. So whoever figured it out, how did they figure it out?
I think sometimes what can happen is when people, and I'm not a searcher, but when they do the search, when so many things have happened, sometimes they'll only go back so far because they see that all this other activity has already been done. And so it's already been researched to death. But if, sometimes it just takes.
So they assume that it must be good because it was conveyed and searched so many times.
And, maybe they've
and
sold
other
it
attorneys said, this is good, move on. This is good, move on. But we don't take that for granted, I think is what Christy's saying. Julie Edgington is a phenomenal searcher. She's been with Glenn since he started. And she is, like, when I say thorough,
she's intense.
That doesn't even touch the surface.
Yeah.
She digs deep, and she has volumes of notes that she's kept over all her years of doing searching and learning things. She could be an attorney in her own right just because she's obtained so much information and she knows how to apply that and she knows what to look for. So in your case, she may have noticed that the meets and bounds were off or something didn't line up
everything
with the map, with the tax chart, with the plat map and all the dimensions. She probably noticed, well, look at this garage. It's over a little far. What's going on here? That doesn't seem to line up. She'll look at those lines. She has a little magnifying glass.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So I had a situation one time, and it was exactly what you're talking about, where it had been sold multiple times. It was a farm. So the farm had been sold, and then the farm had been handed down, and then the farm had been sold again, and then the farm had been divided. And then when it was divided, it was sold in tracts. And then this particular tract had been sold 3 or 4 times. Well, what they found out, and I mean, it was auctioned off, like when they did the tracts and everything, come to find out that at some point, and they didn't, I'm not sure if it was when it was handed down and then sold, or when it was sold after it had been handed down. So it was one of those moments. Somebody didn't sign. There were multiple heirs and somebody didn't sign. So I don't remember now. Let's say there was 4 heirs. 3 of them did and 1 of them didn't. And so it was a 3-4 week process to get the will, find out if maybe that person wasn't actually gifted that land, or did they sign and then somehow it, got cut off of the paper. I mean, like all of these things that they tried to discover. And of course it was, 65 years prior. But the conversation was, man, it's been auctioned. It's been sold a couple of times. It's this, they built a house on it.
That doesn't make a mistake. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy. And I actually had to play Magnum PI one time and go track down an heir. Like this
I've seen your Hawaiian shirt.
It's awesome, isn't it? This was before that shirt.
And the mustache.
Yeah. But I had to go track down an heir one time. And I'm convinced he had a gun. Like I pulled up, I called him and I said, I'm coming. I need your signature on this. And he was like, I'm not signing, fill in the blank. And I said, well, you kind of have to, because it's already happened. I didn't know if that was true or not. That's just what I told him.
Say it with confidence.
That's right. And and he was like, well, am I going to get paid for this? And I was like, and I guess that's what title insurance is for, right? Just in case. So in that case, I offered him a couple $100 just to get her done. And it it worked. It was fine. And he signed it, but he stood against the door frame like this. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I know what's in that hand behind the door frame. So
wow.
Yeah,
the things you do when you're a realtor.
Wow.
That was a very interesting.
You guys are not appreciated like you should be.
I don't know about appreciated. I think we're nuts is what we are. So the good ones.
Most people don't know to the lengths you all go.
Oh, I've got all kinds of stories on that one.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Ask me about my second listing ever sometime.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometime.
It involved
when
lye.
We're having
Do you know what lye is? Like
and chemical
and human waste.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was ugly. It was super ugly.
Enough said.
I'm intrigued.
I'm actually gonna have nightmares. I'm gonna have nightmares about that. I shouldn't have even brought it up. Yeah.
Well,
it was bad.
Keep my interest.
Bad news bears on that one. So, all right. What can people look forward to when they come and close with Gateway Title? Like, why should they pick you guys?
Mary. Yeah. That's what they can look forward
to. And good coffee.
And good coffee.
We have good coffee. Yes. We actually get our coffee beans. They're ground right there in our machine when you push the button to get your coffee.
That thing's a Cadillac, man. It is.
Glenn
nice.
Doesn't fool around. He's serious about his coffee. But we get it from Raphael's Roasters on Coffee Street in Coffee County. So how can it not be the best, right?
I mean, come on. It's like Smucker's with a name like that. That'd be good, right?
But no, seriously, being the closer, the main closer, I really try to welcome people, to let them know it's a professional space. We're serious about what we do, but we want them to be comfortable. So, and people, it's a stressful thing to buy and to sell, the whole process, especially now with the market the way it is. There's so many pressures. Just to kind of let them know that we got this, the hard parts behind them, they can relax and go through a smooth closing process. I mean,
I think
that's what I try.
And you do a great job of that. I think that I bought a house relatively recently. I changed my residence. I guess it's been 5 years now, but I hadn't done it in a long time. And I forgot, like I've sat in a gazillion closings and I know what every document is that you're shoving across the table for them to sign. And usually you're doing a phenomenal job explaining it. Jenna does everybody does a great job. Tab does a great job explaining it. And I just kind of like, it turns into Charlie Brown, right? When I was sitting there and I was the one signing it, suddenly I had questions about everything I was signing. And I'm like, I've sat in hundreds of these. I know what this document is. And
you're signing off on it. So it's a whole
kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, a couple $100,000, however many $100,000 worth of debt potentially, or getting rid of debt, getting rid of your home, like your actual home where your kids have been growing up.
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And I think you guys do a great job of not letting it, because how many closings have you done in your life?
Oh,
How many thousand?
I don't know.
A lot. But
yeah.
but when you're in there with you guys, it doesn't feel like you've done thousands of closings. Only that you know what you're doing, but you still take the time. You still treat that person like it's their first time to sign all these documents, because in some cases it is.
Yeah. And it is a big deal. And I think it can be intimidating for people because it's a law office, right? I mean, it is a law office. We have attorneys in there. We're doing legal documents. It can be kind of intimidating. You know, we have to give them a blue pen. We have to get their ID. We have to notarize everything they're signing. You know, this is an affidavit. You're swearing that blah, blah, blah. It can be intimidating. So I try and just relax people if I can and say, you know, this is what it is. If you have any questions, let me know, but we got it. I don't know, just try to deactivate that anxiety that people might have when they come in there, because the whole thing is kind of intimidating, I think.
It is.
Especially for first time.
Yeah.
Buyers.
Well, and especially when we were COVID and you had the plastic thing and all the I was like, I don't like this. This is
it's
weird.
back up.
Is it?
Yes,
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Things are getting nuts again, but we won't go there.
And I have to brag on Mary a little bit, because she, and I've heard this from several people in the industry that are either realtors or have closed with us, and Mary brings a calmness and positivity to the transaction that I think, you know, when people are coming in, it is a little nerve-wracking, and it is a big deal, and it's overwhelming, and you just have a way of your energy and your positiveness, your spread the positiveness.
That's right.
That really make a difference in a huge day for somebody.
And it's not just at the closing table. You started saying that and I chuckled, because you may or may not know this about me, but I can get a little excited sometimes. I can get a little animated. I can get a little verbal.
Try and say it isn't true.
No.
And I have called Mary and I'm like, Mary, blah, 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 blah. She's like, Jonathan. She's like, what we're going to do is blah, 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 blah. And then don't worry. It's going to, yes, I know they're idiots. Yes, that's okay. We're going to work through it. It's all going to be fine, you know? And I'm like,
does it help?
Yes. It's invaluable.
It does.
Thank you, Mary. I feel much better now. I'm still pissed, but
I know you are, because I'll hang up the phone and I'm like, I don't know. He's probably still beat red and steaming a little.
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
It's just your nature.
It is.
You're like a title masseuse.
That's perfect. Yes, she is.
You only say that because I rub your shoulders a lot.
Yeah, and she gives a crazy good back rub.
When you hand the pen over, you need to like rub some essential oil on the pen or something, you know?
Now sniff.
I love that.
That's what we need.
Yes, essential oils next to the hand sanitizer.
Grab your blue pen and run it under your nose. That's lavender.
We might be onto something.
Very calming.
Jonathan, I love it. I'm going to do that.
I think we need to add some oils to our pens.
Absolutely.
Oh, that is awesome.
Definitely some lavender.
I just small royalties,
perfect.
just really small royalties.
Okay.
You know,
You got it.
It's either booze in the coffee
closing.
machine or essential oils in the pens. I don't know.
I love it. Well, ladies, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your company. I appreciate your family.
Thank you.
There at Gateway, and it's cool because you guys I mean, y'all are tight knit. You do the stuff outside of the office. I mean, it's awesome, the culture that you have there, but it permeates into the people that choose to plug in with you guys as well. And I'm blessed to I'm actually the cousin Eddie. If you want to be honest, I'm blessed to be the cousin Eddie that shows up and walks in and says, "You know what's full." But
I'll be her. What was her name?
Aunt Bethany.
Aunt Bethany.
Yeah.
Aunt Bethany.
So anyway, love you guys so much. Y'all help us out so much. Another guy that gets help from these folks all the time is Mr. Bryan Nale. So if you like them, you like Bryan, and you like me, then I don't really know what else.
Dream team.
I don't know what else you need. That's
Yeah,
right. Or my team, not just me. But so anyway, give Bryan a call if you need a mortgage. Give these guys a call if you're going to do a refi. Tell your lender that you would like to close with Gateway Title.
Yep.
They don't have to tell you who to close with.
That's right. You have a choice.
That's right. So definitely it's worth your time and peace of mind. So that's all I got. Trent, you got anything?
Just want to say thanks.
You got any good news?
No, not really.
Okay.
There's a lot of great things happening.
Can I talk about what's happening tomorrow morning?
Yeah.
Okay. So we record the Murfreesboro.com podcast. We recorded it yesterday.
I was like, what's happening?
And glad you just trusted me to give me permission, man. Sure. That's nice. And yesterday we had 2 very special guests
Incredible.
on, and it's gonna broadcast tomorrow morning at 8:00. And I'm just gonna tell you, I'm not gonna watch it tomorrow because I was there, and I already like I got a lump in my throat thinking about it. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
What we got going on there. So check that out over at Rutherford County Breaking News.
Yep.
Watch that podcast with myself and John Carey and General Keith Huber, who is with the Veterans and Families Center over at MTSU, and his wife Shelly. So it was a fantastic interview.
Sounds awesome.
It was so
I'll have
good.
to look it up.
It was spectacular.
Yeah.
And other than that, if you've got anything that you any stories you want to tell, any voice that you want to have heard, Spread the Positive is the place for that to be. And if you don't have a story or you don't want to share your story, but you want to help somebody else share their story, we're always looking for underwriters here on the Spread the Positive Network. So I guess that's it. Gateway, y'all got anything?
On the hot seat? Just kidding.
Yeah,
for underwriting. Hey, aren't you in charge of marketing and stuff now?
I am.
Oh, Mary Fugitt.
We need to get together.
Okay,
we'll talk kickball and Spread the Positive.
I love it.
Love it. Thank you guys.
Thank you, ladies. Y'all are amazing.
We love you guys.
Yeah.
Love you
for
both.
having us.
Thank you so much. This was so fun.
It was super fun. You guys
Thank
are awesome.